It was a beautiful summer day, and Coach Big Al was out on the football field throwing the football to me and my fellow 12-year-olds. Coaching a team of 12-year-old boys is a little bit like herding cats. They have an attention span of about 5 seconds. Then it's squirrel. But Big Al had a superpower when it came to working with 12-year-old boys. And he'd take the football, look at one of them, and say, "Go long. Red 25. Red 25. And he cocked his arm back and he let that ball sail. In the meantime, those 12-year-olds are running down the football field as quickly as we can. And Big Al always made us dive for the ball. Diving for the football and doing a face plant into the grass and coming up with a mouthful of dirt and grass was not a lot of fun. But whenever we made a great catch, Big Al would yell out, "Yes!" We love that attention. We crave that attention. We'd kill ourselves diving for the ball just to get that attention. We'd even dive for balls we didn't need to dive for just to get that attention. Imagine a coach who never yelled at you. He'd say, "Brian, quick, you should have caught that ball. Get down and do 10 push-ups." And I do my 10 push-ups. This had a wonderful effect. The coach isn't yelling at me. I'm training myself not to make mistakes, and I'm building up my body. Madam Toastmaster, fellow former 12-year-olds, did you ever have a Big Al in your life? Did you ever have a teacher, leader, or coach who saw the potential in you and tried to draw it out? Big Al was 5'6", my height, 240 pounds of solid muscle, and he looked like a big Winnie the Pooh with a whistle. After throwing the football to us, he would tuck the ball under his arms and begin to run around the field in circles, and all of us 12-year-olds would try to tackle him, and he'd be dragging 5 or 6 of us across the field. Big Al was the big brother all of us 12-year-olds dreamed about. Who was the Big Al in your life? Who was the teacher, leader, or coach that knew to bring out the very best in you, you had to make it fun? Big Al brought out the very best in all of us 12-year-olds. And it wasn't long before we were heading towards the championship game. That game was intense. First we'd score, then they'd score, then we'd score, then they'd score. With 2 minutes left on the clock, we were ahead by 2 points. And I found myself the lone defender between their running back with the ball and our end zone. I put my head down and began running towards him. He put his head down and started running towards me. Suddenly, I have this internal dialogue going on inside my head. It's like I got an angel on one side and a devil on the other. Devil: "Brian, man, did you see the size of that guy? He's huge, man. He's huge and hairy. Go down, go down." Bing. Angel: "Brian, the force is within you. Use the force." Brian, pow, he plowed over me into the end zone, putting them in the lead. I was so ashamed. Big Al never yelled at me. He just said, "Atkins, sit this one out." I hung my head as I walked over to the bench. And there I met my best friend, Scott Markell. He had no problem at all yelling at me. "Brian, dude, you should have stopped that guy. You let him get in the lead. What are you doing, man?" I so badly wanted to go back in that game and make up for my mistake. But I figured after that mess up, they're never going to let me back in. But sure enough, they scored the point after, and Big Al yelled out, "Atkins, get back in there. Let's see what you can do." And they put me back deep on the return team. I had never done this before. I'm like, "Guys, this is not the time to try things out." The other team, upon seeing this, kicked the ball straight towards me, and I caught it. And I put my head down and I began to run. And I remember looking over at my right at the freakishly big, my teammate, Michael Yu, the 6 foot tall 12-year-old with a look of sheer determination on his face. And I looked around me, and what I saw next blew my mind. Each and every guy on our team pouring their hearts into the game, trying to get us back in the lead. And they opened a hole for me you could have driven a tank through. Now, I wish I could tell you that I ran it back for a touchdown, but I didn't. I ran it back just far enough to get us into scoring position to go ahead. Just far enough to help me rebuild my self-esteem and self-worth, which at that point needed it so badly. And isn't that what a great teacher, leader, or coach does? They look around for opportunities for you to succeed, and they push you out there, and you go out there and you get knocked down. And they pick you back up and they push you back out there, and you go out there and you get knocked down. And you continue to do this over and over until you begin to see the potential that is within you and you have a breakthrough. And when a teacher, leader, or coach shows you the potential that is within you, you remember them for the rest of your life. It's been 48 years since I played for Big Al, and it seems like it was yesterday. I will never forget Big Al. He changed my life. Who was the Big Al in your life?